Let's turn now to Bill Bennett. A three-person race in Georgia. Mitt Romney, Mike Huckabee, and Senator John McCain. As you expected it?
Although it's a must for Romney, Lou, Romney really needs Georgia. People expected that if he got Georgia and Missouri, California, then he lives to fight another day. So he's hoping for Georgia. Interesting thing, by the way, on the Huckabee. Earlier today, reported once on CNN, not much around though, Gallup released a poll, a second choice for Huckabee voters.
Right.
McCain.
Right.
Surprising people. You saw it. It really surprised me because there's been this argument that if Huckabee would drop out, all the votes would go to Romney. Maybe not.
It is interesting and perplexing at the same time because all of the savants had that duality created. We want to point out again these numbers. The reason you're seeing some zeros up there in terms of precincts reporting, we're still at the very early stages of the counting. The projections for Senator Barack Obama as the victor in Georgia based on those early patterns, but still the numbers very, very early. Gloria, you were about to say?
Well, I just want to comment on what Bill said. What we see time and time again, when people say they're voting for John McCain or they like John McCain or those Huckabee voters would not go to Romney, they would go to John McCain. It is because of who he is as a person. They like that. And they like him, it seems, from looking at our exit polls over these last weeks, they seem to like him more than they like Mitt Romney. So it's not really a surprise to me that some of those Huckabee voters who think that he's authentic and a breath of fresh air would then say, okay, McCain would be my second choice because I believe that he tells me the truth. That's been his campaign.
Terrific. Well, let's turn now to our colleague, in fact, our newest colleague and team member on the best political team on television, Campbell Brown, who's going to bring us to all of our correspondents covering this race nationwide. Campbell Brown.
Thank you very much, Lou. We are checking in now with our correspondents who are stationed all across the country at campaign headquarters and at the polling stations as well. And why don't we start with Candy Crowley, who is here in New York at the Clinton headquarters. And Candy, set the scene for us there tonight.
Well, the theme tonight is it's going to be very close. You cannot talk to anyone in this campaign that doesn't say, we think we're going to come out of here kind of divided. They believe that Illinois will go for Barack, obviously his home state. They believe New York, by and large, will be theirs, keeping in mind that these are proportional here, so they'll each get some delegates. Then they move into some of these swing states, New Mexico, Missouri, they're looking at. The Clinton campaign is hoping or Arizona, looking a little south. Tennessee is another one they're eyeing. But the core of the Clinton campaign has always been, for this night, New York, New Jersey, California, and Arkansas, where, of course, she was First Lady. So those are the ones they're watching very closely. But they have left nothing to chance here. She has been out all day doing satellite interviews in all of these key states. But as far as I can tell, they are saying the same thing we are saying, which is it's going to be a really long night, Campbell.
All right, Candy Crowley for us at Clinton headquarters. And let's turn now to Suzanne Malveaux, who is at Obama headquarters. And the talk, Suzanne, as you well know, has been all about the Obama momentum. What's the level of confidence there tonight?
It's somewhat subdued, if you will. They are really trying to lower the expectations here. They say it's all about moving beyond this night. Of course, the Georgia victory was not a surprise. They expected it. A high African-American community reflects somewhat what they saw in South Carolina. They also expect to have a good shot in Alabama, and it is obvious, it's clear that they do believe they're going to win the home state of Illinois. But take a close look this evening at those caucus states. There's 6 states, and that's what they're hoping that he's going to perform well, because these are open contest, gives people a chance, independents, Republicans, to weigh in here. Also, it's really where you see that ground organization of real strength of the Obama campaign at work. So look at states like Idaho, Minnesota, Kansas, Alaska, Colorado, these type of places where they believe they're going to perform strong. But again, they do believe that Senator Clinton is going to come out ahead with the states and the delegates, but they say if they get within 100 delegates and win some states, they're in good shape to move on. Campbell?
All right, Suzanne Malveaux at Obama headquarters in Chicago. And let's check in on the Republicans now and go to the McCain headquarters. Dana Bash is there. What's the feeling there tonight, Dana?
Well, John McCain tonight, Campbell, is one conflicted man. On the one hand, in one breath, he says, we're going to win the nomination, we're going to win the White House. And the next, he says, wait a minute, I've seen this movie before, I'm not so sure. But, you know, they really are, in reality, banking on something that hasn't existed up to now in the Republican race, and that is momentum. John McCain is hoping that his big wins in South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Florida, and his big poll numbers right now nationally really will give him a good night tonight. What they're looking at in terms of the map, they're looking east first. He spent a lot of time in New York, where you are, in New Jersey. They're hoping for some big wins in those winner-take-all states. They're not so sure about the enchilada, if you will, of California, which is a lot more complicated. It was very close there. But McCain is somebody who understands. He says that he was, left for political dead not too long ago. He understands that it's only because of a change, at least at this point, a perception on the ground in Iraq, that he is even viable at all right now. He's been trying to make the case all day, even more intensely over the past few hours, that to Republican voters, that is still the dividing line between Republicans and Democrats, and he is the best person to beat Democrats on that issue of Iraq. But he still has kind of a revolt going on among conservatives, as you know, Campbell, and that is something that is going to be a big challenge to McCain if he does, in fact, get the nomination to unite his party.
All right, Dana Bash for us in Phoenix tonight. And from John McCain's headquarters, let's go to Boston to his rival, Mitt Romney, former Massachusetts governor's headquarters, and Mary Snow is there. Mary?
And Campbell, the mood here is one of anxiousness. This is really Mitt Romney's last chance to prove that he is a solid competitor to John McCain. He's been saying this is a two-man race, but he was disappointed when Mike Huckabee beat him in West Virginia. And Mitt Romney traveled to West Virginia to try and win that state. Now the campaign is looking south. They're hoping that his conservative message will do well in Georgia. But really, the hopes are on California. And it's going to be a late night as his campaign is eagerly awaiting to see if his conservative message has resonated with voters there. They're hoping it will. They've been encouraged. And, of course, Campbell, he has to win Massachusetts, his home state. Senator John McCain was here in recent days. This is a must-win for him. Campbell?
All right, Mary. And finally to the state that is getting an enormous amount of attention tonight. We've got Jessica Yellen, who is in California, with us for an update. She's on the Election Express. Jessica?
Campbell, Californians know that all eyes are on them because this state is the delegate jackpot. Throughout the day, there have been allegations of voting irregularities in various precincts. One precinct in Los Angeles opened 4.5 hours late. The Obama campaign in San Francisco sent out an email to supporters warning them that some unaffiliated voters who are supposed to be allowed to vote Democratic were being turned away or not told how to vote for Democrats in their precincts. The Clinton campaign responded quickly with emails of their own saying that these irregularities are being overplayed. Bottom line, this just demonstrates just how hotly contested this state is. Now, the stakes are definitely high here for the Republicans, 170 delegates at stake for them. And John McCain made a visit here this afternoon, but they are even higher for the Democrats, 370 delegates at stake. And for the longest time, this has been Clinton country. Bill Clinton was so popular here. But in recent weeks, Barack Obama has been able to narrow what was a very healthy lead for Senator Clinton. The Clinton camp thinks they are still strong among Latinos and among working women voters. But Barack Obama has gotten a slew of high-profile endorsements lately from the LA Times, from La Opinion, a Spanish-language paper, and from the state's First Lady, Maria Shriver. So it is just incredibly close in this state. As you've heard John King explain earlier, the delegates here are apportioned by district, so it should be very long. This night should go on well into the wee hours as they try to count out who gets how many delegates. Campbell?
Yeah, a very late night out there. All right, Jessica Yellen for us. Jessica, thanks very much. And we should mention we'll be checking in throughout the night with all of our correspondents. And we want to go back now to Lou and the panel.
Campbell, thank you very much. And we want to remind you that as of right now, Mike Huckabee has won the caucus, the convention in West Virginia, 18 delegates there. And CNN has declared Senator Barack Obama to be the winner of the Georgia primary. And right now we have a three-man race in the Republican primary. Literally too close to call, very early in the counting, but that counting will accelerate over the next hour or two, and we'll be bringing you all of the latest results, the very best analysis of this Super Tuesday primary election. And even as we now take a break, you can catch up on all of the politics over the course of the next minute or so by going to CNN.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and CNN has projected Senator Barack Obama the winner on the Democratic primary in Georgia. We are set for a number of poll closings within the next hour. Let's go to my colleague Wolf Blitzer to bring us up to date. Wolf?
It's going to be exciting as this evening continues, Lou. Let's take a look and see what's coming up at the top of the hour. We have, as Lou just pointed out, projected that Barack Obama has won the Georgia Democratic primary. It's a three-man race on the Republican side right now in Georgia. We're waiting for the numbers with the actual votes to come in based on the exit polls. We can only tell you it's a three-man race right now. Coming up in about 41 minutes or so at the top of the hour, polls will be closing in all of these states in Alabama, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Massachusetts, Missouri, New Jersey, Oklahoma, and Tennessee, states that will be very, very important in helping to determine who will be the Democratic and the Republican presidential nominees. In Alabama, for example, be important to see if Barack Obama on the Democratic side can continue that southern momentum. South Carolina, he won. Now we've projected he will win in Georgia. Let's see how he does in Alabama against Hillary Clinton. And in Missouri, that's a very important state for both the Democratic presidential candidates as well as the Republican presidential candidates. We'll wait to see if we can make any projections at the top of the hour based on the extensive exit polling we've been doing throughout the day. Stand by about 40 minutes or so from now. We'll get back to the 8 p.m. Eastern poll closings. Lou?
Looking forward to that and fascinating results there as we look at those southern states, those Midwestern states that are going to be critical to both the Huckabee strategy and the Obama strategy. Let's, with the polls having closed in Georgia, Senator Barack Obama, CNN has projected him the winner. Let's take a look at what the Democratic voters in the primary in Georgia were thinking. Bill Snyder and Soledad O'Brien have an analysis of those exit polls as they're now available. Soledad and Bill.
Yeah, you know, the best way to look at that, of course, is to take a closer look at the exit polls. So we broke it down by race, gender, and age to see where the voters went. So let's start with race first and foremost. African-American voters.
African-American voters were a majority of the voters in Georgia, and they predictably supported the African-American candidate, Barack Obama. 88%. Hillary Clinton, that has to be a disappointing showing, just 11% of the African-American vote. But the white vote in Georgia, now here's a surprise. They did vote, among white voters in Georgia, they did vote for Hillary Clinton, 57%. But Barack Obama got a big chunk of the white vote. 39% of the white vote is a lot more of the white vote than he got in South Carolina.
Which is around 25%.
It's about 25%.
And you said that might be a big problem if he wasn't able to raise those numbers.
And he raised those numbers. This is a southern white vote. He got almost 40% of it. So that shows he's made real headway with white voters, even in the South.
All right, let's break it down by gender. White men.
There is a gender gap, and the white men, here it is, Democrats in Georgia, white men were just about tied. Look at that. Clinton just narrowly edging out Barack Obama by 3 points. Now let's take a look at white women, and this is where Hillary Clinton, I believe, is going to do better. There it is. Hillary Clinton, a clear edge there. It was about 50-50 among men, but she clearly dominates the vote among white women. I should point out we see a gender gap among white voters in Georgia. We don't see a gender gap among African-American voters. They all voted for Barack Obama.
All right, let's talk about age, because what we had seen before was younger voters were going for Barack Obama.
And certainly that's true in Georgia. There's a big differential here by age. Look at this. The younger you are, the more likely you are to vote for Obama. Those under 30, over 3/4 for Obama. Those 30 to 44, just about 3/4. And that was almost half the voters. There was a big turnout of younger voters. Older voters went for less for Obama, and you have to get to those voters who are 60 and older, which where they split the vote evenly between Obama and Clinton. That's the only age group where she made some real progress, and she could only split the vote with Obama in the over 60 category.
Now, they had also mentioned that they expected a huge voter turnout overall. I think before 2004 it was something like 600,000 people turned out. This time around, they were predicting maybe 1 million voters.
That's right. There are a lot of new voters in Georgia, as there are in many states, and a lot of them were young voters. And we see here the young vote really paid off for Barack Obama.
I should mention that you can find more of your analysis at CNN.com. They can follow the race online, of course, as well. We got to take a short break. We're back right after this. Stay with us.